Do you feel entitled to this public money?
No, I think the whole point, some of the right things that were said then, is I'd rather have not a penny from the government and have a clear message telling the public that if they want to go out, it's their decision. That I've got right now a restaurant with 300 covers. I've got 150 people. I could have closed tonight like a lot of the West End because I'm losing money tonight. In fact, that £6,000 won't cover the money I lose tonight. But I feel I have a duty to my customers, to my staff, and to the West End, to London, to remain open and show some sense of this famous blitz spirit that London is apparently supposed to have so much of. I'm so angry at it because really all we want is a clear message from the government. Are we going to be open on New Year's Eve? Are we going to be open for the next 2 weeks? I had to yesterday order £30,000 worth of champagne for my 4 restaurants because the government won't tell if we're open or not. It was my last date. For all I know, on the 27th, bumbling Boris will tell me that I've wasted my money and I'll have 30 grand's worth of champagne burning a hole in my cellar. Well, I'll hopefully drink that over the month I'm closed. But I'm really frustrated. I don't want the taxpayers' money. I want to be able to trade, and I want the public to be able to make sensible decisions about their own risk. I can't bear this new country where we're told that we can't make our own decisions about our own safety. Right now, what's interesting is we have 3/3. A third of people have decided it's not safe to go out. They cancelled. A third of people are still here tonight, and a third aren't here because they're not sure the government will cancel. That's the third I'm annoyed about, because if Boris had given a clear message, I'd have another 100 customers tonight, and I wouldn't be losing the £6,000 Boris has been kind enough to pay me back, having lost me this month about £350,000 on top of the £1 million I lost last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Last night on this programme, we analysed that cabinet meeting and described it as being not yet, maybe keep an eye on things, nudge, nudge, and what have you. Let me take you to the money as well. You're a businessman first and foremost. Paddy Flynn just said the amount of money is ridiculous as well. It's the kind of down the back of the sofa money. I mean, £6,000 to you, and I don't mean this to be remotely rude. You're a very successful big business person. You've just been talking about 300 covers. If I offered you £6,000, you'd smile at me.
£6,000 tonight, it's an insult to our industry. Don't forget that Rishi last time round told our sector he wouldn't leave us standing. He did. He kept nightclubs shut and he never gave them anything more than £3,000 a month. That didn't pay most of their electricity bills. Insurance, by the way, doubled last year when we were closed. The insurance companies, having not paid out loss of business, then increased our premiums for being shut. You know, you do start to slightly believe in the conspiracy. I don't, but I'm frustrated at the nonsense that's been spoken. Rishi's never stood by the hospitality industry. Don't forget that the wonderful, wonderful way the government paid our staff's wages was us basically engaging in an unemployment benefit scheme for the government. I'm not even sure why we operated. I'm very glad my staff got paid by the government, but it didn't help our business. It didn't help me with £1 million worth of debt. And we're repaying that debt now and being shut again. And that's the problem right now, is that all of us are under massive financial stress already. And this lack of consumer confidence, the banks will pull away from their loans because they'll be nervous about our sector again. You're looking at a sector that employs 3 million people. It takes 70 billion a year. And the irony, Alistair, is this is one sector that does level up. 18-year-old kids behind that bar will be booting me out of my comfy seat in a couple of years. We do level up, and this sector will be ruined. And the horse has bolted. Why on earth didn't we push boosters in September? We knew this was coming. Boris knew it was coming. He didn't bother because he was too busy playing politics and worrying about his rubbish cabinet and the appalling cabinet ministers he has. And I'm just fed up with this. When is enough enough? When does Boris resign and have some pride in this shocking way he's handled this?
Final question, Alex. You are a successful restaurateur, but you're the kind of business guy who could have dabbled in any field and made a success of it. And in that context, let me ask you this. How confident are you of economic recovery? When, how, and led by whom?
I mean, what scares us all right now is a year ago, inflation was a word that I remember from the 1970s, as do you, Alistair. I remember 3-day weeks. I remember the horror of all that. And that was was a distant memory a year ago. What scares the hell out of me, I'm sorry to use that word this early in the evening, is that inflation is back. That means all those interest payments are going to get very scary. And then suddenly the government doesn't have the ability to splash the cash. So you sit there and go, we have to live with COVID. People have to make their own decisions. We have to stop. As Theresa May, isn't it ironic how Conservative prime ministers are only ever good once they resign? Theresa May made the first intelligent statement I ever heard from her and pointed out that we have to learn to live with this. We can't keep shutting the economy down. You can't threaten people's jobs. And also the key point is, yes, we might save some lives, but then what are the lives lost by the NHS being treated like this, by closing the NHS down to other patients, by the psychological damage, by the thought that kids might be sent home again this term? I can't help thinking that these effects are worse than the effects of COVID. And let's face it, so far, this wave, and I have known quite a few people who have it, seems to induce an enormous amount of tiredness in people. And then 4 days later, they feel fine. I'm not entirely sure why we're so scared of this one, because it's exactly what they told us it would be. It will be more virulent, but it will be less severe. So can we not all calm down and start being sensible again and stop doing this? Because it's driving me nuts.
Alex Proud, total sanity from you, not nuts at all. Thank you very much indeed for your time. And hey, seriously, I wish you and your team every success fighting the good fight. And let's hope you get through it and are smiling on the other side of it.